What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about another film that was released in 2023, and I heard about this film from some people through some reviews I read online, and it's from director John Carney, who I've actually seen two of his films. The film Once, that stars Glenn Hansard in the group The Swell Season, which is a phenomenal indie film. If you've never had the opportunity to watch it, the music in it is beautiful. If you've ever heard The Swell Season's music, it's phenomenal. I've seen that movie probably 4 or 5 times. It's rough around the edges, but it has such a beautiful core, and I love the story. And then he's also made the film Begin Again, which I've seen, that stars Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, which I thought was cute and charming, but it lacked in a lot of ways. I thought the music had a charm to it, and I enjoyed myself watching it, but I didn't think it was anything super special. And then he's also made the film Sing Street, which I've never seen before, but I know a lot of people really love it a lot. And it seems like, as a director, he likes to tell these stories that music plays a central focus, and Flora and Son, the film I'm going to be discussing today, is no different. I knew very little about it other than music played a role into the film. I went into it blind and checked it out, and I'm excited to discuss it with you today. Flora and Son is directed by John Carney. Single mom Flora is at a loss about what to do with her rebellious teenage son Max. Her efforts to keep him out of trouble lead to a beat-up acoustic guitar, a washed-up LA musician, and harmony for this frayed Dublin family. So, as I said, I'm familiar with this director's work, but I didn't know much about this movie going into it, and I thought this movie was fine. I don't think it's exceptional. I think it lacks in a lot of ways, very similar to the film Begin Again, but I do think that the movie has an emotional core that will be relatable to a lot of people, and I think it has a lot of charming moments that make it a worthwhile viewing experience, despite the fact that I don't think the movie is perfect. At the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Flora, played by Eve Hewson, and Max, played by Orén Kinlan, and their mother and son. They're living together, and you can tell their relationship is very tense. They're not very close. Max is constantly getting into trouble. He's been arrested multiple times, and the two of them can't seem to find any common ground. Flora goes out virtually every night. She's trying to find some level of romantic connection. You could tell she's got kind of a smart mouth. She's really funny, and she's just kind of lost as to what she wants to do with her life. She's a mother to her son, but she doesn't feel close to her son, and she wants something more. And we meet her estranged boyfriend or husband. I can't remember if they were married. Ian, played by Reynor, who was in a band for a while. He's pretty much completely absent, only takes Max when he needs to. And through trying to bond, she buys Max an acoustic guitar because she thinks he's interested in music. He doesn't seem to care all that much about it, and so she decides, well, hey, maybe I'll try to play music, and maybe once I learn more about music, I'll get the opportunity to bond with my son. So she goes online, she starts looking for instructors, and she stumbles upon Jeff, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's teaching these lessons. He wanted a music career for himself. The music career didn't work out, and the entire film is our lead character Flora doing these guitar lessons with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, learning more about herself and her passion for music and her love for music, and trying to share that with her son, and seeing the relationship between Flora and her son build. So, as I said, I thought this movie was okay. I think the movie has a very good core. I really like what the movie is trying to accomplish. Similar to the director's other work, I feel like there's great intention here. He wants to make you feel good. He wants to make you smile. He wants to make something charming. And there are moments that are really powerful throughout the film, but the problem is there are so many moments in between that don't really add up to anything. The first probably 20 minutes of this movie is paced so poorly, where I feel like you got the same recycled sequences. Flora's character isn't really all that relatable up front. She's really mean-spirited, and she comes off as comical in moments, but aside from just like, oh, my life's really boring and I'm trying to figure something out, I feel like her character really lacked any sort of depth for me to want to kind of attach onto her until the conversations with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character started, and we started to get a little bit more into who she is as a person. But I still don't even feel like those sequences flesh her out enough to really make her a super likable character. There are moments I liked her, but for the most part, I just felt like her character needed something more to really make the film pack a heavy emotional punch. The relationship between her and her son feels like it's so pushed to the back for these conversations with her and Joseph Gordon-Levitt that we wait until about the halfway point to really start focusing on this relationship between mother and son, which feels like it's supposed to be the entire crux of the film, and it's really not. And I feel like the movie just kind of jumps all over the place and takes a really long time to be able to juggle both the relationship that she has with the guitar instructor and the relationship with her son, to the point where you're just jumping back and forth and nothing really sticks long enough to be able to hang with you. And then the sweet moments that I do think really work come towards the end, where the film had stumbled a lot, and I liked a lot of what was going on in the third act. I do like the actors in this film. I haven't seen Joseph Gordon-Levitt in anything in a really long time, and he seemed to be having a lot of fun in this movie. I thought that he was really great. The actress that plays Flora does a really good job. I thought that she was dedicated to the material and performed really well. The actor who played her son was really nice, and I think that the chemistry develops really well towards the third act, but it just is really a struggle to get through in the first part of the film. As far as the cinematography, this film is shot relatively flat. It's not all that interesting, but this director's films that I have seen, there hasn't really been anything that interesting with the cinematography, but it also was kind of muted color palette wise, and maybe that could be trying to complement the more isolating feeling that our character was feeling towards the beginning of the film, but I never felt like the colors kind of started to change when things started to warm up towards the end. And I don't know, I just felt like it was kind of a bland viewing experience visually. I feel like there could have been a lot tidied up, kind of sucked you in more in that way, especially in the scenes with Flora and Jeff where they're talking over these Zoom calls. I just felt like there was something really lacking in those moments, and just building those characters, especially since that becomes a romantic interest. I think they'd try to frame it in a way that was really visually engaging, and they have like the computer goes away and he's like in the room, and I don't know, it didn't really work for me. And the entire film, despite the fact that there were moments that I felt like were really charming and that I was attached to the characters, there were so many moments that the film fell short that I felt like it was wasting time doing a whole lot of nothing. And I think that if the director went back to kind of how he paced the film once and approached those relationships and made it feel a little bit more natural and less forced, probably would have loved this movie. But instead I just ended up feeling like there were charming moments, but that it lacked, so it just made the film okay overall to me. So have you seen Flora and Son? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was okay. I think that there are some charming moments that are really easy to attach yourself onto, but I think there's so many moments that don't work for the film that make it a little bit of a slog to get through. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.